Testing. Hmm. Dropped frames. Man, oh, am I seriously already in the red zone? What is this? Why is my upload rate so incredibly terrible? Can anybody tell me? I don't know. Hold on a sec. Just, just like be normal for a second, if that makes sense. And this stupid thing was working great. I probably shouldn't have paired it with my cell phone. That's probably why it won't pair with my computer anymore. Testing, testing. Hey everybody, it's me, JJ, the producer of video games and more, and the owner of Bright Idea Records. And I needed a break. I was getting a little bit like tight. It's getting uptight, man. Here, let me see about these audio filters and crap. I don't think I want the noise suppression on. I think you can live with the noise for a minute, if that's okay. It's all the same. It's basically all the same. What do I mean by that? Things are tough all over? No. Tough. Yeah, I was, really pissed off at software right now. Probably for no good reason. Probably just being impatient. But, yesterday on the stream, I did this go to sleep. Wake up. That's better. Trying to save energy? I don't think so. Not when you're around me. It's time to burn energy. You understand? Yesterday we were like having fun hanging out, right? And so what? I was trying to show you, like, look, I found something, and like I couldn't show you, basically because I needed this. My good old Mac. It's a good old Mac. It's a good old hunk of Mac. You can believe that. And so what about it? Well, I found what I needed to find. It's a real pain in the ass because it's an incomplete project, right? Like, I'll play it for you right now. Why not? It's a fun way to kick off the show. I think this is it. Well, I say I think because this is the MP3 that I produced. There's a WAV file that's like an export of the raw studio session mixed, like, you know how music is. You know what, I'll just play it from the raw fucking file. How does that sound? Let's see if that works. Keep running. Take it, I won't take it. Run from it all and keep running. See, that sounds like okay, doesn't it? It sounds like okay. It doesn't sound great, and that's because the guitars are weak. The frequencies that the guitars are operating and transmitting on haven't been like properly leveled out. The drums sound fantastic. The voice is like good, but it's way louder than everything else. So, and I did that because I basically worked on the drums and the vocals first. Anybody know why I do that? That's like an industry standard, like not to work on them first necessarily, but like when you're doing the mixing and the mastering process for like rock music or a band that consists of like guitars and drums and vocals and stuff, traditionally all the hit songs that you hear on the radio or streaming on the internet, or you know, the shit that you buy, yeah, traditionally the vocals and the drums, like I tend to think of it, the vocals are on that end and the drums, and then you got your bass and your guitar and you work on that, like, you know, well, the reason I work on it in that order is just because, yeah, the drums and the vocals are going to be the loudest. That's the way it works. Like, the human ear, they like to hear what the person is saying, the vocalist, if you will, and they like to tap their foot to something. They like to have something to dance to. So the two most important things, really, to a human being, and that's because they help with the social aspect of the whole thing. Because when you know the lyrics, then you got something to talk about, even if you don't understand music. Like, you know, if you don't know to say, that guitar solo was sick, you can still attempt to talk about the lyrical content, you know, which is what some people do with music. And yeah, if you can hear the drums well enough, you can dance to it. And there you go. That's like the most useful aspect. But the guitars and the bass, I think any real music aficionado is gonna be like a guitar fanatic, a guitar lover. You know, that's why they made a video game called Guitar Hero, is because it's practically goddamn epic, heroic, like, superhero-like even, to throw down some badass guitar licks. We all know this. I'm not making this up, okay? You know, if you're lucky, cheers. Mm-hmm. I had to get the lid. I had to get the lid for my sippy cup. Why make a mess? And yeah, of course the bass guitar is super, super, super important. It might be the most important thing of all, but the thing is, because that it's such a low frequency, like, if you got like the right sound gear, you'll be like for days all the way down the block. So like, and if you don't, if you're listening on a smartphone, like teeny tiny speakers, headphone speakers, well, you'd be amazed what headphone speakers can pull off. But, you know, anyways, you know, the bass, it basically everything should be roughly at the same level, and then maybe either raise up the vocals and the drums a smidgen, or lower them down a smidgen, or no, lower the guitar and the bass down a smidgen, because you're still gonna hear them, especially if you just lowered them just a smidge, right? I mean, there's algorithms to accomplish all of this, you know, but hypothetically, if you're on an analog recording system, there are still, yeah, I could take my Behringer, I could whip out a 4-track Tascam tape recorder right now, but I wouldn't do that. No, I'd rather use like my Mackie mixer, which is a Behringer, I was using what's this company called? Hold on, a Samson. I had a Samson Mackie mixer, but I burnt it out. I was using it to help amplify a PA system, if you can believe that. It worked at first, but I knew to keep the level, like, I was basically using it for an extra boost, a tiny little boost, because, like, my PA isn't the most powerful PA. I've had it for a while. It's like a Fender Mustang? Is that, could it be? You know, regardless of the model, it's pretty low wattage. And if you know much about speakers, the wattage is kind of important. Although it varies from like tube based speakers and stuff to like solid state. Like you don't need as much wattage for tube based stuff. That's like, for whatever reason. Just trying to take a break because like all this science that I'm telling you about, the science of the sound. Yeah, what about it? Hey, where'd my goddamn Zippo go? I mean, like, I just barely put fluid in it. I should use that before it evaporates and junk. Shouldn't I? But yeah, you know, if it's unmixed, it's unmixed. And half the reason I never released that is it's not fully mixed. You know? It may have sounded good, like, over the internet or whatever. Or it may have sounded terrible, I don't really know. But the fact of the matter is, it's not finished. It has to be mastered. Or it's just like, it's just like, it has to be. I don't think you know how important that is. You don't just like throw on a recorder and like, do you know how many times like I've encountered things on the internet, let's say like a pirated movie that was filmed off of a screen, like a cam. You ever heard of a cam? Those used to be really popular. You know, basically you'd steal the movie off of the screen and then you could take it home and watch it, like, you know, and you didn't have to wait for it to get released on DVD or Blu-ray. What about it? Well, it seems like these days you don't have to wait very long to have the. It's like they release it in the theaters and then very soon after that it's pretty much available at home, right? Isn't it? Last time I checked, it was like that's the way they were operating these days with the movie releases. They didn't make you wait forever for the production to occur. Well, anyways, if they're still doing the cams like they used to back in the day, what about it? Dude, I could take a cam and just do a few sound enhancements to it, like the equalization, for example. Maybe like a compressor. How about just like a limiter plus some gain? Level things out. Like I could take a cam. Oh, not to mention the noise removal. Jesus, man. You know, if somebody sneezes, do like a click track removal, you know? I could practically make a cam watchable. You know, they distribute the raw video, and with just a few minor adjustments. They're minor adjustments to a sound engineer, but like, they really make a big difference. But there's plenty of people that are happy just to watch the cam. You know, the low quality, you know. Yeah. I'm just not one of those people. Like, I kind of gotta have. Don't get me wrong. I like raw sound, like punk rock on a vinyl record, recorded on a 4-track. Like that's kind of what I expect to hear. Like when I hear this new, the punk rock that gets produced these days that's like perfect. You know, it's got the guitar sounds so clean it's practically metal. You know, like what about it? The vocals sound like, no man, it don't sound punk rock to me. It's got to sound a little bit lo-fi. Like you can do hi-fi lo-fi. It's pretty much like you take a lo-fi recording and then you master it and make it hi-fi. That's the way you keep it sounding authentic. Like the way I did JJ Styles Undercover, that cover album, that's practically an exaggeration of what I'm talking about because those recordings are so raw. They sound like they might just have been recorded in the 70s, you know? But and plus I could have mastered those a little bit more, but you know, I was trying to like express my attitude towards overproduced sounding punk rock, you know? Yeah. But here's the thing that got me frustrated is this is in order to master this. Here, I'll go even further back. Okay, that we were listening to a WAV file. There's also an MP3. Might as well throw it on in the background because it's pretty good shit, man. But I found the Pro Tools files. Yay! Hooray for me, right? You know, you get happy, hey, I found the files, and then you try and load them, and you can't. It kind of takes that happy moment and sends it. That's why I try not to get my hopes up. I think I was talking about that on the last stream, that I'm kind of a hopeless person, because once I get my hopes up, if they like get, if there's something that you know, it's not a good idea to get your hopes up. That's why I'm streaming right now instead of working on the song, because I was about ready to just say, fuck this shit! I'm never working on a song ever again! I hate this garbage, this bullshit. It's so annoying, it kills my creativity, any makerness I have in me whatsoever. What am I talking about here? I'll just show you. See with your own eyes what pissed me off so bad. Oops, sorry. So I'm like, on the Mac. Alright, so what? So what? I'm like, where are the... oh yeah, there's a directory. There's a directory in here called, the Hot Chicks. There's also a lot of my original SoundCloud recordings in here, if you can believe that. Maybe a few pirated video games, I don't know. Hopefully not, that would be wrong. Son of a bitch. Where the fuck is it? See, just trying to operate is pissing me off, because, you know, I know how to keep an organized file system, I really do. It's just when I'm super busy, I tend to put that on the back burner. Let me look. The directory isn't in here. This is where the master, you know, my pre-mastered masters. Looks like it's the desktop items. Oh, I see the problem. I have to go to the desktop items. That's like one of those directories that I make when my desktop gets so cluttered and so filled with crap that I haven't organized, that I just make a directory called desktop items, and then I drop everything into that directory and tuck it away somewhere in my user directory. you know? And then it's like, I have a nice clean desktop again. It's so uncluttered. How nice. I can clutter it all up all over again. Right? And hopefully someday I get around to sorting the desktop items folder, right? Yeah, hopefully. Not always. As you're learning. It's just life, right? You're busy, organizing shit, keeping your stuff organized, it takes time. If you don't have the time, you gotta forego that. And it sucks. Because when you're not organized, you don't know where anything is. You can't function if you don't have a level of organization, like, of the bare minimum. For example, I can find my tobacco and, my tubes and my cigarette machine. I can find them. That's organized. Okay? Why is it that I can find them? Because if I couldn't make a cigarette when I need one, I'd be in bad shape. Even worse shape than I am now. I'm not in bad shape. I'm just frustrated. This is not, ideal. Here, you'll see. I think I found it. Wait, no, this is the desktop stuff directory. Jesus Christ. How did I end up here? Okay, Mac and MH. Wait, this. We're almost there. MHD desktop items. Okay, I found it. Yeah, let's see if we can make this a little more fun. Maybe. There we go. Got files. Might be able to see them. So when we go into the Hot Chicks directory... Oh, what is that? It's a Pro Tools file. I double click it. Pro Tools cannot be opened because of a problem. Check with the developer to make sure Pro Tools works with this version of Mac OS. You may need to reinstall the application. Be sure to install any available updates for the application and Mac OS. Click report, yada yada yada. So ignore, and that's it. End of story. Not gonna happen. What's up with that, huh? Well, when we look at my copy of Pro Tools, I upgraded this Mac. This is a new Mac, i5 processor. My original MacBook that died, that this is basically a replacement for. The MacBook, I don't think I ever took it up to High Sierra. I think it was just at Sierra. And now we're at High Sierra, and this Pro Tools doesn't work. You see the big Ghostbuster just say no symbol? Who you gonna call? I don't know. Who you gonna call? I don't know. That just say no symbol means it's not gonna fucking load. It says you can't use this version of the Automator app Pro Tools Loader with this version of Mac OS. In order to use Pro Tools Loader, blah 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 blah. And you got your uninstall Pro. Maybe I'll do that. But I was just trying to find a copy of Pro Tools on my hard drive, because I know I have some backup installations. I have backed up Pro Tools from version 10 up to version 11 up to version 12. When I started, it was at version 10. Granted, I kind of learned how to operate Pro Tools 9, but Pro Tools 10 was close enough to Pro Tools 9 that it was cool, man. But Pro Tools 11 and 12, are just too different for me. Like, I just I wasn't comfortable, so I kept running Pro Tools 10, even though, 11 and 12 were the newest shit that I should have been using, right? Alright, there's the noise suppressor. I don't think we're gonna listen to that anymore. At any rate, I know I have copies of the Pro Tools 11 and 12 that I guess I'm gonna have to like install and get to know because my operating system isn't get, or maybe if I reinstall 10, I don't know, man. I just want to work on the goddamn song and upload it to YouTube. It's been a long time. It's a little bit discouraging. I was pretty pissed. I was pretty angry. Like, I'd say frustrated, but like, whenever you use that word, people tend to think it's like sexually related. I'm so frustrated. Oh, well, go and fucking get off, why don't you? That's not gonna help. All right? Seriously. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, it might help in regards to like I might just forget all about working on the goddamn song, move on with my life, right? I don't really want to though. You're on video games and more. We don't quit. We finish what we start. And it's just I really don't feel like software debugging right now. I was way more in the mood for like music producing and yeah. I would have tried to reinstall Pro Tools, but I couldn't find any of these backups that I'm telling you about. I swear, if you don't mind, I'm just gonna babble to myself and keep browsing for these backed up installations. Maybe if I use a program like Java Disk, JDisk, I can see the largest files on the system, and then kind of look for the ones that are like what the size of like a CD-ROM, like the 600 megabyte. I think Pro Tools was something like a 600 meg, 700 meg install. The fact of the matter is, I don't even want to do this in Pro Tools. Like, I recorded that band when I took my equipment downtown. I recorded them using Pro Tools and my Mac and like fucking 16 microphones and shit. But that's why I needed the Octopre MK2 because it's like each little interface is 8 inputs and I needed all 16. But because the drums, you ever mic a drum set? It's best to have two on the snare, two overheads for like the cymbals, um, maybe one or two for the bass drum, because you want to put the one microphone in the hole that's like facing the audience, and you kind of want to have one by the kick, so that way you can hear the thud of the hammer, but at the same time, when you have the other microphone in the hole, you know the hole I'm talking about. Um, it's like you get the overall sound of what got produced by the hammer thud. It's just a way more full sound. That's why you mic the snare with one on top and one on the bottom. Because there's these springs on the underside of a snare drum, and you kind of want to hear the rattle of those, but at the same time, you want to hear the drumstick on top when it goes thud. And, like, if you don't hear that shit, it's not going to sound well produced. So that's 6 microphones right there. 2 on the snare, 2 on the bass drum, 2 overheads for like the cymbals, you know. Then if you got the clip-on style microphones for the tom drums, a full tom drum set is going to have 3 toms, like a floor tom, 2 mid toms, perhaps even a high tom. Okay? The tom-toms, that's what they call them. And, you know, that's 3 to 4 microphones right there. So all of a sudden you go from 6 to 10. Anything else? Well, it depends on the drum set. If there's a cowbell, you should mic that. Now you're up to 11. If there's like some chimes, you should mic those. Of course, we're still only at what, 11? Because you're probably not going to have a cowbell and a set of chimes. You know, that's a very particular thing for a drummer. You know, just like how many knickknacks and accessories do they want? What's their signature sound? You know, their rhythmic, you know, like usually they don't want to have everything in the book but the kitchen sink. Usually they want a few signature sounds, whether it's like a China cymbal, you know, or a splash, or maybe like the chimes or the cowbell, or that one thing that goes like rick 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 rick. It's like a wooden thing that has like a bunch of grooves. It's all ricky 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 rick 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 rick. And you could even use like a washboard. You know, if you're in one of them hillbilly jug and freaking wash tub bass, you know, a band like that, you could get away with using like a washboard on your chest, going rick 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 rick. But it's the same thing as like the wooden thing I'm talking about. There's all kinds of crazy names, like a djembe. What the fuck is a djembe? I'd tell you, but I forget. It's a lot of things to know when you're a drummer. But regardless. So right there, the majority of our microphones just got used on the drum set. Then you got like your guitar player and your bass player. Yeah, guess what? You should probably have 2 inputs for the sound. One would be a microphone placed in front of the amplifier that the string artist is using. And then you should have a direct line in. That's just the way to get the full sound for the bass and the guitar.